Hey everyone, I finished watching the next Street Sharks episode, Super Shark. I really like this one. I remember, when I got the DVDs and I was watching all the episodes through, for the first time, being able to just sit there and see the entire, series. Once I got to the Dino Avenger episodes, I kinda lost interest because I didn't like the Dino Avengers. I missed the Street Sharks characters, like the side characters, the villains built up for Street Sharks. I didn't care about the Dino Avengers and the Raptors and what they were doing. I wanted more of the Street Sharks stuff. I at least wanted a conclusion to that before we started with the Dino Avengers stuff. But then there was this episode which I really enjoyed. Like it was still purely a Dino Avenger episode with actually the Dino Avengers don't show up except for Bullseye. Bullseye's the only one who shows up. Huh. Why was the title changed to Dino Avengers featuring the Street Sharks if they were only going to feature one Dino Avenger against all the Street Sharks? The other Dino Avengers don't even get like a little appearance. Like in the last episode or the one before that, the Dino Avengers only show up like at the very beginning, then they disappear for the rest of the episode. So anyway, this one I kind of liked. Let's see, it starts off, Benz is making a superhero costume for Slamu. Slamu's planning on going to this comic convention, and Benz is telling Slamu about what the suit does, that he's made it out of Meko Shark alloy or something. Okay, that's a nice little callback, but the way it's presented in the episode, if I hadn't seen those episodes with the Meko Sharks, I would just assume that Benz is talking about alloy or whatever that's made specifically for the Street Sharks, not literally referring to he ripped armor from the Meko Sharks. I don't know if that was the intention or not, but whatever. Anyway, then there's a weird thing. Bullseye is watching Slamu, and he mentions shark surveillance, like he's spying on the sharks. I don't know where that came from or why that's a thing. All I can guess is maybe this was written under like a different plan for where these episodes were meant to go. Like, was that originally a thing? Like, originally the Dino Avengers are so distrustful of the sharks that they completely split and then they're suspicious of them, so they have someone spying on them or something? I don't know, whatever. So anyway, Bullseye's watching what Slamu's doing and he gets curious, wondering what's going on. And then the Street Sharks show up and they make fun of Slamu's costume. Guys, you've worn dumb things too. Like, you've worn some really stupid things over the course of the episodes. Ripster, you thought that a jacket and sunglasses was enough to blend in with people. So whatever, that's kind of weird, and Slamu gets ticked off and tosses his comic book aside. Bullseye picks it up and then follows Slamu, while at the same time he notices some stuff in the garbage, and he's like, oh hey, this looks like what the guy in the comic is wearing, and then he puts on all the garbage he finds. Okay. So then he catches up with Slamu. Slamu doesn't want to talk, and then later we see the Slamu go to the Comic-Con, and there's a cool little bit. There's a line of people waiting to go in, and a bunch of them are people from that episode way, way back. I can't remember even what the title of that episode was. The one with rocks, I think, was the one where there's a comic convention. There's a bunch of people in costume. A bunch of those same people in costumes are here, too. Oh, and there's also somebody dressed up like the Thing. Huh. Like, it's really obviously supposed to be the Thing. I'm surprised they were allowed to get away with that. Oh, and one of the funny things, there's a girl dressed up as Slamu, kind of. She has like a shark mask thing on. She has some little shoulder pads on. I wonder if that was actually a type of Street Shark Halloween costume. If it was, good marketing. So, let's see, Bullseye goes into the Comic-Con and accidentally cuts in line, which angers this big giant guy who reminds me of, Bat Dad from South Park, the big fat guy who barely wears anything and gets into fights all the time. My headcanon is that this is Bat Dad in his younger days. So anyway, he picks up Bullseye. Oh, and we see the size of this guy. He's bigger than Bullseye, and Bullseye's huge. So this guy, he picks him up and throws him. And I'm just wondering, like, who is this guy? He is a monster. There's never, like, anything that goes back to him. Did Paradigm give him some Gene Slam stuff or something? Whatever. So anyway, we see the Raptors are at the convention center too, and nobody notices them. I'm guessing everyone just assumes that... Oh yeah, and this was a thing. I wrote it down in my notes. I was writing down my notes as I was watching the episode, and one of the cool things was I was writing down about the Raptors are probably able to just walk around because people assume they're going to the comic convention. And then we have a scene that confirms that. So, oh, cool, I was right. And I haven't watched this episode in a while. Like, I think since I got the DVDs years ago. Although now I'm watching it on the Blu-ray. So anyway, oh yeah. The scene is there's some security guard. He sees the Raptors going into a arms and munition convention. And at first he's about to, like, call somebody, but then he sees somebody else in costume wander in, and he's like, oh, they're just from the Comic-Con. They're fine. So that's a neat little thing, although I do kind of feel like it, making it way too obvious to the audience, whatever. It's not bad anyway. Oh yeah, the Raptors enter the weapons show, they go up to this computer monitor, and they're monkeying around with the controls, and I think setting off test missiles. Huh. Because, like, there's video screens, and it shows the missiles being launched to things, like, at houses and at cars and at a tank. So I'm assuming these are test missiles meant for, like, actual military personnel to try out and be like, okay, we have this aimed at an empty thing, it's just there as a target. You can launch the missile to see how it works. Oh, okay, then... Like, I've heard of that sort of thing, although... If they have actual firepower, it doesn't seem like the type of thing they would just let civilians wander into. Especially not in costume. Whatever. Anyway, let's see. Slamu and Bullseye are trying to stop the Raptors. Slamu calls his brothers, and then Benz and the Sharks show up, but they're no match for the Raptors' new weaponry that they've stolen, which is a weird little thing that I like. Although it's kind of odd. It reminds me of back when Malcolm Medusa and Clamando were characters. Most of their episodes, or all their episodes, revolved around holographic technology. And it was just like this weird coincidence that it did, because it wasn't something that they were specifically interested in or anything. The Raptors have a weird, like, thing where they keep being, like, coupled up with military weaponry. In the episode where Bad Rap calls the other Raptors, they come in and they suck up a bunch of military weaponry from the arms show that Bad Rap is at. And then there's the one where they're using a bunch of that to set off the volcanoes, and now they're going into a military, like, munitions convention. Huh. I don't know if that was intentional, or if it's just a coincidence. If they actually do have an interest in finding weapons, like an active interest, then it's not really shown at all, but whatever. Moving on. Let's see. Slamu and Bullseye rescue the other sharks, and Slamu uses some special weapons built into a superhero costume to destroy the Raptor's tank, and they retreat. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and then they're all leaving the Comic-Con, and Ripster and the other sharks are like, hey, Slamu, we're sorry we made fun of your outfit, and then Bullseye flies over carrying this guest from the Comic-Con to meet Slamu, because Slamu wasn't able to get his favorite comic book writer's autograph. And as it turns out, this comic book writer is a big fan of the Street Sharks. And so then they all go to Humongo Burger. Of course. It's a fun little episode. Bullseye is pretty likable, and I really like that the petty bickering is kept to an extreme minimum here. It could be just gone completely. I don't know why there has to be this conflict between the Dino-Vengers and the Street Sharks. They're both heroes. They're both the main heroes of this superhero show. I don't know who thought that just having them argue all the time was a good idea. So I really like that that's mostly gone from this episode. Let's see. Oh, and one of the cool things I always liked about this was Slamu is still getting character development this late in the series, and there's, like, new things being revealed about him. Like, in the past, we know that, let's see, He's an athlete, he's patriotic, he respects the president, and now we learn he's a big superhero comic fan, and that's a cool little thing that, I don't think ever comes up again. Or maybe it does, I don't remember. Let's see. Oh, and like I was saying at the beginning, there's only one Dino-Venger in this episode, and that's really weird. Especially considering how the title, initially, when it was being aired, was changed to Dino-Vengers featuring the Street Sharks. But, like, all the Street Sharks, including Ben's, are featured. Bullseye is the only one who was just kind of shoved in. And it's kind of weird, because I don't quite know how to explain it. The way the episode is, it feels like an older episode of Street Sharks. Except Bullseye's there. I'm wondering if maybe this was an older episode, and it got scrapped or something, and then they had to do these Dino-Venger episodes, so they were like, oh hey, we have some of this episode done, let's just add some more stuff in with the Raptors and Bullseye. Whatever, anyway. I like this episode. It's a high point for this late in Street Sharks when a lot of the episodes are just getting kinda dumb, and the series is winding down, and it's not really going to get a good conclusion, unfortunately, so gotta take these good episodes when I can, so that's all for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.